From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Welcome back to Montana This Morning. We're taking a closer look at surging water bills across the Billings area. Plus, a memorial ride on Sunday as folks remember a man killed just a couple of weeks ago. And we are taking a closer look at campaigns as usual. We are headed into election season, Miller. Lots to continue tracking there. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Monday, September 23rd. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. It was a really beautiful weekend outside.
It really did turn out to be a very nice weekend. You know, welcome to fall, by the way, everybody. We're into fall now, first full week of fall, and it's not going to be fall-like. Maybe today, but as we get into the middle of the week, we got some really hot temperatures on the way. Some areas could get into the 90s. We'll talk about those spots coming up in just a bit. Yesterday, it wrapped up beautiful day, like Augusta said. We were about 4 degrees above the norm, but look at that, getting down to 39. Our coldest temperature so far to start this brand new season. And unfortunately, not only those temperatures are going to be warmer than average for the daytime highs, it's going to be warmer at night as well. Top gusts at 27 miles an hour. Could see some gusts up to about 30 today, chasing behind that area of low pressure and that cold front. That could keep those temperatures down just a bit. Still pacing ahead for the month in terms of the moisture total, but still in the hole for the year. Unfortunately, there is not much rainfall at all in the forecast, not only this week, but outlooks show that we're going to be dry next week as well. Fingers are crossed that could change. 57 right now at the airport, humidity at 51%, winds out of the southwest at about 10 miles an hour. See a little bit of moisture off to our north-northeast with that area of low pressure in Canada, that moisture wrapping around it, but that pulls out quickly. A high pressure takes over. It's going to dominate and keep things dry. We do have some clouds out there, 40s and 50s. Highs today, mainly in the 70s with lots of sunshine on the way. A complete look at your forecast is coming up.
All right, Miller, thank you so much for tracking all those details. And our top story this morning, the city of Billings is now expressing its own frustration over the mess and confusion surrounding hundreds of mounting city utility bills. Still, the city maintains those bills are correct. However, one Billings woman says that can't be after she opened one for $1,000. MTN's Andrea Lutz has this.
Avery Johnson says she couldn't believe it.
That is most of my paycheck for the month.
When she opened her most recent water bill from the City of Billings Public Utilities,
I have no idea how I'm going to do it.
Stunned to see this, a water bill to the tune of $975.
But especially in this economy, to lump one big bill, like 60 days for people.
Sue was surprised because she's a single woman living alone.
May to June bill was $312. That was to be expected. It's summer. It's fine.
That was expected because she was filling up her backyard pool then. But when she called the city for an explanation, they told her she had a leak.
But I've been in the crawl space. I've looked everywhere.
She says the bill isn't adding up, and so many others agree. She posted her frustration to social media where hundreds of other Billings water users also chimed in with similar stories.
A lot of people are going through the same thing.
Billings City Administrator Chris Kukulski says there's an explanation for the high water bills: high usage.
We had 2 very wet summers, and this year has been a very hot, dry summer.
And the city remains adamant that all of those bills are correct.
So the meter itself is reading accurately.
However, they do say what went wrong.
But this transition to this new billing system has absolutely been a bear.
The city admits the mess is caused with their vendor, having software programming issues, pulling data from the old system to the new system, something that was supposed to get done in February.
Is it possible that the system has a hiccup with it right now?
There was no change in our meters or our meter software. And that seems to be where people are saying there's a problem, is in the consumption.
Considering all of that, the city says there's no issues with bills, even those unusually high ones like Johnson's.
No, there's something wrong. I mean, they just switched to this new system and then all of a sudden all these problems are happening for everyone. Everybody has a leak. Like where is that water coming from?
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Andrea, thanks so much. The city continues to push users to its website to learn more. They say this summer the city saw a 29% increase in water consumption due to high temperatures leading to more water usage. We'll continue to follow what happens with that story. Last night, protesters were making sure Republican Senate hopeful Tim Sheii heard their dissatisfaction, showing up at his most recent rally in Billings with signs and chanting. Members of the Native community are placing mounting pressure on the candidate to apologize for racially insensitive comments he made last year. They were recorded at multiple campaign events across Montana.
Sheii has to go!
Video from former Montana congressional candidate Penny Ronning shows dozens of protesters outside the Billings airport where Sheii rallied with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. She's now banned from all tribal lands in her own state. At the rally, Sheii hit on a number of topics, including safety at the border and reducing crime. The Sheii campaign continues to decline our request for an interview on this issue, which infuriates tribal leaders, calling on Sheii to apologize.
It's serious. As he comes out and continues to not want to say I'm sorry for something so serious, it really bothers me personally. Just for the fact that he thinks that it's okay to sit with people behind closed doors and defame a lot of people and sit there and think they know who we are, but that's not who we are.
That's Chairman Bryce Kirk of the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders speaking on the issue back on September 12th. Sheii is seeking to unseat incumbent Democratic Senator Jon Tester in a race that could determine control of the U.S. Senate. Tester was in Billings at the pub station for a rally of his own last night. Happening this week in Washington, lawmakers are set to scrutinize the high cost of weight loss and diabetes drugs, which, depending on your insurance, can range from $0 a month to over $1,000 if it isn't covered. Our Joe St. George explains that the debate over the government's role in setting drug prices will intensify in the months ahead and will very much depend on who wins in November.
Should the federal government play a role in setting the price for prescription drugs in our country? To some degree, it's already happening for some Medicare recipients beginning in 2026. But that involvement is not guaranteed to last forever, and it is very much contingent upon the outcome of November's election. The high cost of prescription drugs in this country is not necessarily a new story. In 2022, the annual cost of prescription medications was around $1,400 per person, according to a survey from Rand Healthcare. Current law already caps the price of insulin at $35 a month for Medicare recipients, and beginning in 2026, select drug prices for those on Medicare will be negotiated by the federal government. But should the government play an even larger role?
These may be the best-selling drugs in the history of the pharmaceutical industry.
On Tuesday, Senator Bernie Sanders will raise that question when the CEO of Novo Nordisk, the maker of the popular diabetes and weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy, goes before Sanders' Senate Health Committee. A report produced by that committee earlier this year found the company charging Americans with type 2 diabetes $969 a month for Ozempic, while that same exact drug can be purchased in Germany for $59. That same report found the obesity-fighting drug Wegovy goes for over $1,300 a month in the U.S., while it's $140 a month in Germany. Novo Nordisk tells Scripps News that Ozempic and Wegovy's prices have declined since they were first introduced and are looking forward to further cooperating with policymakers. Sanders previewed this high-profile hearing last week.
A drug, no matter how great it may be, does not mean a thing if you cannot afford to buy the product.
Government-involved price setting is a controversial topic on Capitol Hill.
What we're really talking about here is prescription drug socialism.
Senator Mitch McConnell, who leads Republicans in the Senate, has been a vocal opponent, arguing that if drug companies lose the incentive to have big profits, they may stop the financially risky development of new drugs.
When the federal government predetermines outcomes, it kills the incentives that prompt innovators to bet big on cutting-edge research and development.
The reality is that any change in the government's role with the prices of prescription drugs going forward will depend on the outcome of the election. Experts say if one party has control of the White House, Senate, and House of Representatives, that would increase the chances of new laws being passed or current laws being repealed. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
Joe, thanks so much. And the latest CBS News poll indicates the presidential race remains tight. According to the poll, Vice President Kamala Harris is now up 4 points nationally over former President Donald Trump. It says Harris has narrowed her deficit with Trump among those who call the economy a major factor. Harris says she'll give a speech this week outlining her vision for the economy. Over the weekend, the vice president accepted an invitation for a second debate, while Trump said it's too late because early voting has already started. On Sunday, congressional leaders announced an agreement on a short-term spending bill. It would fund federal agencies for about 3 months. The deal is aimed at averting a possible partial government shutdown when the new budget year begins next month. And authorities in Birmingham, Alabama are seeking multiple suspects after 4 people were fatally shot in the city's nightlife district. Officials say more than a dozen people were injured. Community members hit the streets of Billings in honor of 28-year-old Julian Wolf yesterday. Wolf was struck and killed 2 weeks ago by a man fleeing police. But as our Haley Monaco reports, this ride to remember isn't about the man who took his life, but instead the legacy of a man now gone.
Dozens are here remembering the 28-year-old, showing the impact that Julian Wolf had on many. Now they're rallying around his younger brother as they give Wolf one last ride.
He wasn't just a brother to me, he was a friend as well.
At just 18 years old, Zane McCracken is left picking up the pieces.
So it just brings back a lot of memories.
Earlier this week, he went back to work, a spot filled with reminders, the same place his brother was the general manager at.
The only reason why I came back is that I knew I would have to get things organized once again to be in Julian's way. You know, I don't want Julian's store to be falling down this quick after his passing.
Wolf was killed on September 9th when he was hit by Jimmy Joe Flanagan as Flanagan fled from deputies.
We're tired of losing friends, you know, we're tired of losing people that we enjoy living life with.
Now McCracken and dozens of others gather for a memorial cruise.
Come together to show our respect, show our love, show our concern for not just him, but his family.
With hope for a change.
We just need to be the ones that lead by example and take that step to be like, hey, look, you know, we need to be extra mindful and extra observant.
Remembering someone who touched so many lives and supporting the one left behind.
He passed away, he was the breadwinner of the family, and now I'm having to pick up my plate along with, you know, a bunch of different other things to just try and keep the family rolling and be financially stable.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.